finance sonia mol surtout musolu mulyalam ko wolle ka marchandisol bondi bur food sade kono kata samba sera kunda marché oto je ani bi je funding kewol be yela kata kolke ko be tentana la kanyin do ku sifanyin tente ka continendi andon funding kewdo be je mum ka fa famara drami ate ma kafudi wonte ate nyim bur food fande ma kafoto tandi ko tonya ñimmu do kuleti mu yalam ko abe ila business lal mako elal anda manke o damanti pour mototiol mulka borgo mbe dol kan sate ko naje kandu silo na atnyata e bayila o kabalu kolyandile mole andun sate mol fanan na soto bulo fanan be talalale wala na fonnin kewul ya tandi ko be nyin do ko ke kan lillahi alayele nyin kamala pour ka ila sate mol makoy drive vol lim pasa selu ani mulalam ko luolu ila balobe o silo le kan tanin na la karola ando ye ñom fondin kewol jey baake ye kata ko ni wakilo mun keten kafindi ke dadum atanyin testo do ko nyindo butu nganyil la sutale kibarol to bi wularo nyin kibarol anin kibar ko temon al se nomano grts la website momo www.grts.gm al se radio fanana kol moy ate nyin website nyindo butu mbal ni barala baake ala wato mun ta projani lokunala ala baraka.
Person has a dream to build a career path, a dream to be successful. The avenue to the world of success is built by passion, patience, sacrifice, drive, and motivation. In this TV series, presenter Abdullah Baji will be meeting successful individuals to talk us through how they made it to the peak and also offer expertise counseling to youth who aspire to become successful, develop, and transform our beloved country. Issues confronting the sense of development of the young would also be discussed.
Join me every Monday at 19:15 GMT. I'm your host, Abdullah Baji.
Greetings from the Gambia and welcome to another edition of the Changemaker Show. It's a pleasure being back again, and today on the show we'll be discussing about a very, very important issue which is really affecting the development of young people in this country, especially those who are in their quest to pursue for employment opportunities in various sectors in this country. Today, my guest, I have Ms. Ngone Jeng, who is from GAM, and I also have Ms. Hadijatu Jonga, who is the ex-president of Voice of the Young, as well as a student at the University of the Gambia Faculty of Law. Ladies, you're welcome to the Changemaker Show.
Thank you.
To start with, Ngone, can you please give us a brief synopsis as to what exactly GAM is all about?
Okay. GAM Ends Against Rape and Molestation, GARM, is an organization that was formed a year ago on the Balafong Facebook page. It came about as a result of an article that was posted on the Balafong website, balafong.com, and it sparked this discussion on the Balafong forum as to sexual abuse in the Gambia and what is being done about it. And as a result of that, GAM was born, and currently it's a year old. The year anniversary was celebrated in April. And currently we're mostly working online, but we're also having sensitization programs offline, as we had a show 3 times on the Fatu Show, and we've also been on the radio. Yeah.
So basically that's what GAM is all about. You look into issues of rape and molestation.
And molestation in the Gambia, because these are things that people don't usually talk about, because in the Gambia we have this culture of sutura, and victims of sexual abuse, rape and molestation they don't have the courage to speak out because they are afraid that something will happen to them. So there's always this fear, and there's a stigma attached to rape and molestation that always keeps people from speaking out about what has been done to them, especially with children. Usually the molester or the rapist would intimidate you in such a manner that they would not have the courage to speak out, or usually they don't have the vocabulary to express themselves to tell people, well, their parents and family members and people close to them what has happened to them. And with elders, there's a stigma and this blame that is attached to rape in our society, because usually if a teenager is raped, the average person would be like, oh, it is her fault because she was wearing this, or she did this and this, or she went to this place. That is why
about the
this
dress
happened
code
to her.
Of girls.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure we would come to that as the discussion goes on. Beautiful viewers, our topic of discussion today is sexual harassment. Of course, it is vague, but we will be looking at sexual harassment in workplaces. That is pre-employment, when young people, especially young women, are going to look for employment, and during employment. Hadijanga, to kick the ball rolling, what is sexual harassment?
Okay, Baji, thank you very much for that wonderful question. Like he was saying, when we say sexual harassment, we mean actions, words, or at times, just impressions that are directed to another person that have sexual meanings or connotations, and in most cases are actually not very good for the person that it's inflicted upon, or the person is not really interested in these actions, words, or whatever they are. So basically, when we talk about sexual harassment, we mean words, actions, whatever it is that, is directed to another person that has sexual meanings or connotations.
Okay, Ngone, coming to you. The last time I received a message sort of on my Facebook page, someone sent it to me saying that there was this time that she went to look for a job at a particular institution. When she went there, according to her, she has all the papers that she needed, to get a job. So when she got into that company, she met up with the HRM, that is the Human Resource Manager. Mm-hmm. And after they had a chat, the Human Resource Manager of this company said to her, okay, I'm going to give you a job, but I want us to go out on a date tonight, and perhaps we could go to my hotel room. She refused, and then there was no job given to her. Months later, she went to another institution to look for a job, and she met the same guy there as the Human Resource Manager. And what was said to her was, oh, so it's you. My offer still stands. If you can do it, I have a job for you. If you can't do it, then close the door behind me. I want you to look at this technically and tell us, how exactly would you gauge sexual harassment in workplaces, especially towards young girls during their quest to look for employment?
Personally, I would say that, well, from stories like that sexual harassment, even though people would shy away from the topic and say it doesn't exist in our workplaces, it does exist. Usually girls would go in search, not only girls, but even guys, but mostly it happens to girls, and they would go in search of employment, and they, like what happened to that young lady, you would not get the job unless you do so and so with me. Excuse me, okay.
What is so and so? Unless you spend a night with me?
Unless you spend a night with me, or unless you go out on a date with me. Or it doesn't always have to be good as them asking you out. It could be inappropriate comments like, oh, you look sexy, or you look this and that. Because like I think in the Gambia, well, usually in workplaces, people don't know that barrier. They don't know that there's a certain limitation to the way you interact with people at workplaces or anywhere else. People would say things to you that are very inappropriate, and then the victims in such cases would not report the matter because they would not know who they should tell. Or like the guy said, if you don't talk to me, if you don't do what I asked you to do, you would not get the job. So usually these people, because the Gambia is a place where there's a high unemployment rate, and the poverty rate is also not that good in a way. So people would tend to do these things to get what they want, because they're like, okay, I have to do this in order to get a job because I need a job desperately. That is usually what the case is. And there's no platform to discuss these kinds of things because you don't know who you should report the person to. You're only looking for a job, and it's a human resources manager you meet. So you don't know who you're going to report the person to. And usually, maybe if you take that step to report, the person who abused you, he or she would be in a high status where they'd be able to stop the report from reaching the people that it should reach.
The people that are responsible.
Yeah, this is where GARM maybe would come in. Because then if you talk to people, if you talk to GARM, they would tell you, they would advise you on what route to take, who to talk to, and what to do in order to avoid such situations and in order to stop it from happening to other people.
Okay, now, there have always been speculations all over, especially comments coming from guys. They would say that the marketing industry or the commercial industry of the Gambia right now is very much biased, Hadi Jonga.